Hey guys, welcome to a reading. Thank you so much for being here. I do want to make a quick announcement. I still have my website where you can offer private services, candle services, and readings, but I've recently joined with Hypsee where I am now offering pay per minute chat readings and pay per minute virtual one-on-ones. The cool thing about it is that you don't have to download an app, so it works straight through the browser, and new clients get 75% off their first 10 minutes. So, I will be implementing this on my TikTok lives and also YouTube lives when it comes to doing the live readings through there as well. Okay? All right. Hopefully, this reading resonates with you. So, right, guys, let's get a collective message. What is a message that somebody needs to hear? You just got to let go, surrender. Let go and surrender. Let's see what's going on with the collective spirit. Surrender. Yeah. Very first card, we have the Temperance, Sagittarian energy. We have Emperor in reverse, Aries energy. Okay? And Aries is that leader, the risk taker. And you got Temperance, Sagittarian energy, which is very philosophical, otherworldly. And then the two minors, which are usually the behaviors that we exhibit, as well. Well, the majors being kind of like the energy that's honing in on us and our spiritual lessons. The minors are talking about stress and thinking about the better times when things were more simpler, when I was younger, or the bonds I used to have. Or it's very nostalgic on how things used to be and wishing that things were the way that they used to be, whether that be an experience in your life or a relationship that you've had, right? So somebody here, and again, this is a collective reading, it's not going to resonate, but this is an energy where somebody's stressed out so much about, wanting things to be in the more simpler times, wanting that connection to rekindle, or wanting to feel that sense of connection to someone, or wanting someone to lend a helping hand, or receiving their flowers, things like that. It's so stuck on what used to be, and how things were better back then, right? Spiritually speaking, we are at the Temperance and then the Emperor in reverse. So this is telling me that in this collective, there is a lot about control issues, okay? There's a lot about, maybe for some, it can show up as lack of proper discipline, motivation, strategy, building, right? Foundations, the Emperor, what you're trying to build as far as your empire, your business, the level of control that you have. And I wanted to say something that might trigger you, but it's kind of funny because it's like being the narcissist in your own life to yourself, right? It's like treating yourself bad, doing yourself wrong by how you're moving in your life. And it feels this collective is dealing with issues around control and discipline and trying to build something here. With the Temperance being here, I do feel that this collective is trying so hard to be patient, trying so hard to be flexible. It's like a dance between wanting something now and learning when to surrender when no matter what you've tried, it's not working, right? So Spirit is saying, this major spiritual lesson is about staying flexible, staying patient. If one thing doesn't work, try something else, right? Sometimes you just need to surrender to what is. But what's happening, because it's mixed with control and trying to build to feel safe, right? Your root chakra, there's so much anxiety going on, and it's like, oh my God, I need to put this somewhere. I need to put this somewhere, right? And it's victimization. So with this collective, Spirit is saying, listen, you're not always going to feel motivated, right? And some of you may lack discipline, may lack structure. How can you bring proper structure and discipline back into your life when you don't feel the motivation? How can you continue to build and maintain your empire when, you do find those moments where you reflect on how things used to be, or the person that you used to be with, or your childhood, or, past connections. So there's a lot of, I feel, yearning and wishing, and a lot of people, a lot of this collective being pulled into the emotions about what once was. I should title it that way. What once was is no longer here. Give me a second. What once was is no longer here. It's time to surrender. Right. Interesting. So let's see what else is going on here. Let's get the shadows that are coming through. Let's get the shadows that are coming through. Also, what Spirit has been trying to say. What shadow are we seeing with that Emperor in reverse? Some of you guys, I'm getting, are missing your father. You're missing the connection you've had with your father. Some of you have had a connection with your father. They're no longer with you, presently speaking, or in your life. And there's a feeling of missing these close connections. There's a feeling of wanting to feel safe. Okay, we have pride and distrust coming through with the Emperor in reverse. So shadow 1. Pride. True worth is measured by character, not accolades, right? It's about who the person that you are rather than the things, the material things that you have accomplished, what you can show to the world, right? It's about who you are as someone. And then we have distrust. Faith in oneself can rebuild trust in others. So some of you have lost faith in yourself, have lost trust in yourself, and therefore that is projecting, right? How can you trust somebody else when you can't even trust your own decisions, when you can't trust your own self? And then how can you even admit that to anyone with having so much pride, right? So this is really a lot about feeling like you're losing control. What else is this Emperor showing as a shadow? What is this Emperor showing as a shadow for this collective? Grief. And we see that with that Nine of Swords. You know what I'm saying? We see it there, right? Shame, guilt, regrets. In pain, find healing and deeper connection to the self, okay? And this can show up with the Six of Cups, for example, as inner child work. You know, how can you show up for yourself? How can you nurture yourself through this time, okay? So there's a lot of focus on what has been lost than what the possibilities of gain are or moving forward. So I do feel like there's a feeling of being stuck in the past and living in the past, even if it's the good memories you're living in. It's like you don't, it's like there's a feeling of escapism here, not wanting to think about the present moment. Okay. So let's see what Spirit has been trying to tell you in a very funny, sarcastic kind of way. Ooh, hold on. What has Spirit been trying to tell this collective? What has Spirit been trying to tell this collective? What has Spirit been trying to tell this collective? Okay, first card. That gut feeling, it's regret. Okay? That gut feeling, it's regret. Again, hitting back at the Nine of Swords. The shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Okay? Then we have keep running, but from what? So Spirit is saying, what are you running from? Right? What are you running from? Then we have pro tip. Boundaries aren't rude. So for some, the immediate feeling that I got from this was that some of you may feel like somebody put a boundary up with you, right? And it burns. Okay? And for some of you, you may have put a boundary up to someone and you feel guilty about it, right? So boundaries aren't rude. Okay. So this is what the collective is going through right now. Let me see anything else. What else for this collective, Spirit? What is coming in for this collective? Let's put it that way. What is coming in for this collective for the remainder of this year? What is coming in for this collective? Let's get a possible future timeline. Magician reverse. Queen of Cups in reverse. Now these are possibilities, but based on the current energies, this is what's projected to be if this energy doesn't change, right? And we have the Three of Wands reversed, okay. Magician reverse, Queen of Cups reversed, and the Three of Wands reversed. This is a collective. If this attitude doesn't change, right, these feelings don't change, if you don't change the perspective, in the near future, it's the feeling of powerlessness, the feeling of emotional drain and depression, and the outlook of life is just very grim and very dark. And why bother trying? And why bother putting on my socks? Why bother putting on my shoes? Why bother saying? It's phone call confirmation. And it's my mother calling, which is interesting because the Queen of Cups tends to be a mother. So for some of you, you are a mother or dealing with a mother. Okay. there is a feeling of, for some of you, not communicating with a parent that you're able to communicate with, but you're not, right? For whatever reason that is, because you guys are all different, right? So, in the possible near future, if this doesn't change, the possibility is becoming very, even more saddened and depressed and in your feelings, um, feeling powerless, feeling why bother, feeling like you lack resources, feeling like the outlook of your life is so there, the future of what you thought would not be there. Now, this is the possibility. When in actuality, because this is in the challenge position of magician in reverse, Spirit is saying you do have the power. It's your emotions. You have to get in control of the emotions. Okay? You have to stop looking too far out into, I need to know what the future is. You don't need to know what the future is. Like I said before, there is this feeling of just surrender. Surrender to your feelings, surrender to what's going on, accept, right? We have the strength card in reverse. The confidence is being hit, the resilience is being hit. It's like, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hand, 'cause I can't do this on my own. I'm letting go, so give me one more chance. Save me from this road I'm on. So save me from this road I'm on. Okay, Jesus, take the wheel. And I'm getting chills by saying this. Your very first card is Temperance. That's angelic presence. So you're not alone. This collective is not alone. They feel alone, but this collective is not alone. Things are still for a reason at this present time. Okay. Um, I want to get an angel. Do I have an angel card? Let me see something here. I'm going to get an angel answer here. The trajectory of your near possible future is really dependent on you grounding yourself with what's going on, having a different perspective, regaining your sense of power, putting your hand back on the wheel. Let's get an angel message for this collective. Let's get an angel message for this collective. Okay, what does angel message have? Helpful people, look at that. And in this deck, in this oracle, it's actually the guides. It's your ancestors, it's your guides, it's the spiritual realm, And for some of you, it can become physical. There could be. For some of you, there are people that are willing to help you that you may or may not know about, right? But spiritually speaking, you have a whole group of people here, okay? In the hidden energy, it says don't stop, right? Don't stop. Don't pause. Keep going. Don't give up. Don't give up on your life. Don't give up on your path. Don't give up on what you've been working for. Don't, it's like acknowledge those emotions, but don't allow it to decide how you're going to behave tomorrow. You have to balance, right? Temperance, balance out the cups, balance out the emotions. If that doesn't work, try something else. But this is not a time to force. It's a time to stay flexible, patient, accepting, faithful. But don't give up. Don't stop trying, okay? Don't stop trying. Even if you have to redirect, it's just keep yourself moving. Don't get too caught up. Emotions change all the time. Don't make actions based off of emotions. Don't make decisions based off of heavy emotions. There's a need to be very grounded here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, look at that, 8 of Cups. It's like having to leave everything that you've known. For some of you, these are connections that you still feel strongly tied to: divorce, long-term relationships, family, parents. For some of you, it's having to leave, your hometown. Um, it's having to finally let go and forgive things from the past and let go of those emotions once and for all. So, regardless of how fair you thought the situation was to you, you know what I'm saying? So, it is your job to make those decisions to try to find balance back again into your life. Um, and spiritually speaking, it is a lot about perception, right? You could live in the quote unquote shittiest type of life, but your mindset, man, can be so rich. So, um, this collective is dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of heavy emotions, and feeling not in control. So, Spirit is here to remind you that you are, in fact, in control. The only thing that you're struggling with would be how to manage those emotions through this time. Okay. All right. With that being said, let me get one healing card for this collective. Let's get one healing card for this collective, Spirit. If this resonated with you, please like and or subscribe. Feel free to book a personal reading as well. All right, inner child. Okay, this collective needs to work on their inner child. So for each of you, you have to go back into your childhood and figure out what happened there. How is it showing up in your adult life? Okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you so much the best. Bye.